Hello and welcome to this video series on Daily Current Affair Booster. And if you're preparing for IAS, CDS, FCAT, NDA or CAPF, this video is going to be really helpful for you because here we discuss all the important news snippets from The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Rajya Sabha Television and All India Radio. And today's date is 2nd November 2018. So just have a look about all the important articles that we're going to discuss today. So the first thing is about the Samrudhi scheme. So this scheme has been launched by Karnataka. So the whole purpose of this is to actually empower the SC/ST community which lives in the rural area. So how are they going to help them? So this will actually bring in the entrepreneurship that is required. They'll provide us the right amount of fund, skill to this community so that they can also come up with the more and more say outlets, or maybe they have some ideas for new companies. They can actually use it and the government will actually provide all the fund. So this particular scheme is actually government and private partnership. So the private entities will provide all the retail management skill, taxation policies, inventory management, soft skills, and any logistic challenges that come up. The private parties will actually help the government in actually implementing this particular scheme. Also, the government will provide 10 lakh to any of these beneficiaries so that they can start their own outlet. Say you want to start say you want to start a food chain business, you can actually get a 10 lakh fund directly from the government. Also, the whole aim of actually government is to get 10,000 entrepreneur for the next 3 years from this particular semi-urban and rural areas, and that makes this scheme really important. You can quote this in various essays about how actually government is trying to improve the state of SC/ST in the rural background. Moving forward, this is about the our ranking in ease of doing business. We have improved from earlier score, and right now we are scored as 77. So this is about the birthright citizenship in US. So what Trump wants to do is he wants to nullify the birthright which has been given based on the jus soli. Jus soli means the right to soil. That means if you are born in a US area country, so you directly become the citizen of US. He wants to remove this and wants to be implemented only for the native citizens and only for those who are the permanent resident of United States, because he actually doesn't want the illegal migrants to come into US, and if they have children in US, he doesn't want them to become the citizen of United States. So the whole background of it comes from when it was implemented. In the 14th amendment of the constitution, it is clearly written that anybody who is born on the US soil will automatically become the citizen of US. And also, if you go by the backdrop, when in 1868, after the end of civil war, what happened was the slavery was abolished. So most of these slaves are now eligible to become citizens, and their kids were also being provided the citizenship. Now you need to understand what is happening. Trump is actually against all the migrants who are coming in illegally. So that's the reason he wants to nullify this Jus Soli Act, which is basically it gives you the citizenship based on a particular idea. Say if you're born here, there are other parameters also through which you can become citizen. But from Indian context, you need to understand in India how does citizenship work. If you want to become a citizen of India, what are the ways? There are basically 5 ways. So they are basically by birth. Say if you are born in India, then you become a citizen of India. The second thing is by descent. That is, your ancestors, your parents are from India, then you also can get citizenship. And then is by registration. Say you are born in US, but your parents are Indians, right? So you will go to the consulate there. You'll register yourself. Then that time you're basically becoming citizen by registration. There is naturalization. That is, you are a foreigner, but you liked India so much that you want to stay here. You want the citizenship. You'll actually apply for naturalization, and after say a period of 12 years of stay here, you'll become a Indian citizen. And say by acquisition of territory, that means say you are a resident of Bangladesh, and somewhere in future actually India actually captures the whole of Bangladesh, then you will automatically become the citizen of India also if India captures Bangladesh. So in that case, acquisition of territory also results into you becoming a citizen. So there are basically 5 parameters to be acquire citizenship, so just remember those things. So the next thing is about a body known as Financial Stability and Development Council. So this particular council recently had a meeting to actually discuss what should be the real repo rate, bank rate, how can they actually stabilize the inflation which is happening and the depreciation of the currency which is happening, how to control that. So in order to have that meeting, they had this FSDC meeting recently, and it is usually chaired by the Union Finance Minister. So this particular body was established in 2010, and this is responsible for the financial stability. This actually helped in interregulatory coordination between the RBI and a lot of other bodies, say pension bodies. There are a lot of other bodies like which regulates bank. All these comes into this particular forum, and it's known as Financial Stability and Development Council. Also, the financial sector development is actually new ideas coming from this particular body. If you want to know who are the members of it, as I've already told you, it is chaired by the finance minister, and you will find the governor of RBI. You can find the secretary of Department of Financial Service, secretary of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So all these are will be available in this particular council. Moving forward, we'll discuss about the commercial papers. So if you remember, somewhere in the month of September, this news came up about the ILFS. So this company was unable to actually pay back their short-term loans. That's the reason why it actually defaulted. So the major reason because of it was the commercial papers. So commercial papers are nothing but they are actually unsecured loans that many of the big companies take from the money market. So what they do is it's basically a promissory note saying if you have a commercial paper given to you, so somebody has to pay you back the money on a particular date that has been given to you, and the maturity period for this is usually 7 days to 1 year. So that's the reason they are known as short term borrowing, and from other borrowing they are known as long term there because they are for 10 to 20 years, but this is maximum time limit is 1 year. So people or basically corporates usually go for this commercial paper because of basically three reasons. The first reason is there is no procedure involved in actually creating commercial paper and releasing it, and the second thing is the credit rating is very important. If the credit rating of the company is not so good, nobody will actually buy their commercial paper. So in order to make sure they actually can bribe the credit rating agencies, because you know that credit rating agency does not actually create revenues, they actually get the revenue from the same companies itself. So that you need to understand. The third thing is about there's no permanent source of capital, because if once what happens is, say your market is not so well, it's not bullish enough, so what happens is most of the people will actually not buy your commercial papers. So that's the reason you need to understand this cannot be your primary source of capital that you will infuse in your company. Next thing is about the Parker solar probe. So this is actually to understand how sun actually has this so much of energy when it's come to the corona part, because you need to understand that the corona is more hotter or actually has a temperature more than the surface of the sun. So we need to understand how this energy and heat moves through the corona, and how is actually this going to affect the magnetic field around various planets, especially the earth. Because you understand when these corona actually release this solar wind, what happens is this actually affects our communication satellites. So we need to understand how these corona actually affects the satellites through these solar winds. We need to understand that very clearly. NASA has launched this particular mission of Parker solar probe. Even India is actually going to launch a particular satellite which is known as Aditya, so which is actually to inquire about this sun, so which is yet to be launched. Moving forward, this is about a report known as the Living Planet Report of 2018. So this particular report is launched biannually, that means every 2 years, by the Worldwide Fund for the Nature. So let's just understand what Worldwide Fund is first. So this was actually found in 1961 and in Switzerland. Its headquarters is also in Switzerland. It is known as GLAND. So the whole purpose is actually to create awareness, and it's basically a NGO for the first thing. And then it actually was founded by Philip Mountbatten, and this the purpose is basically the conservation, creating awareness about how environment can be conserved. So they come up with new ideas, they actually initiate a lot of important treaties. You can take an example of the Paris Climate Agreement. So what they are planning is to, on the same line, bring in a treaty where they can concentrate on the soil biodiversity and the pollinators, because they understand that most of the overexploitation of the natural resources and agriculture is leading to the soil degradation, and because of which what happens is most of the organisms and basically microorganisms which lives in the soil are getting affected. If that whole trend goes on, what happens is plants will no more have the right nutrients. If they don't have the right nutrients, pollinators will not work. So if that doesn't happen, we don't have a basic source for food also. So that's the reason they want to start an any international treaty where everybody will take cognizance of their act of how they are degrading the environment. So the next thing that we're going to discuss is about the country known as Malawi. As I've even told you yesterday that our Vice President Venkaiah Naidu is on a visit of three African states. The first one being the Botswana, followed by Zimbabwe, and then the Malawi. So yesterday we discussed about the Botswana. So here we will discuss the Malawi. So here you can see the location of Malawi. It's basically an African country, and here you can see an important lake. It's known as Lake Malawi, also known as Nisa. You can see the adjacent country which actually touches it. The first country that you need to understand is basically Mozambique, because half of the Malawi is actually and captured within the Mozambique. So if even if you basically notice, Malawi is actually a landlocked country because it does not have access to any of the oceans directly. So Malawi is a landlocked country, and also yesterday I showed you the map. Is it the question is, does Tropic of Capricorn passes through Malawi? So the answer is, guys, no. The Tropic of Cancer actually passes only through Botswana and Namibia, which is very down right here. So it is always above the Tropic of Cancer. And the second thing is all the adjacent countries. Here you'll find Tanzania, you'll find Zambia. Please understand that Zimbabwe does not touches Malawi, and also yes, all those things. And the capital is basically, you can see, it is Lilongwe. So that's all for today, guys. Let's revise everything that we have studied. We studied the map of Malawi, followed by the importance of Living Planet report, which actually is a biannual report released by Worldwide Fund, followed which we understood the Parker Solar Probe, which was launched by NASA in order to understand the solar wind feature which comes out from the corona. Here you can see the corona diagram also. This is basically the corona outside. It is over the surface of the sun. Here you can see all the important information about the Parker solar missions also, and you can understand the facts about sun. Why is it very important to us? All those things are available here. And moving forward, we understood about the commercial papers and how it led to actually the short-term crisis and defaults in this particular company known as ILFS also. Followed which we understood the significance of Financial Stability and Development Council, which is headed by our finance minister. Moving forward, why is actually Donald Trump trying to nullify this birthright citizenship which has been given by the 14th Amendment of their constitution? Moving forward, we understood the ease of doing business, followed by the Samrudhi scheme, is basically to improve the state of SC/ST in the rural background by giving them chances for entrepreneurship. So that's all for today, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and share this as much as you can. Thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind.